Well, there he is, the new independent counsel. I think he's going to give me nightmares. His name is Jack Smith. And, well, it seems like did they screw this up or did they screw it up on purpose? It seems all fouled up to me. I want to bring in Mike Davis, former law clerk to Justice Neil Gorsuch, actually, and founder and president of the Article 3 Project, all-around expert on all things legal. Welcome back, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
You bet. So on a scale of 0 to 10, or 1 to 10, 1 being this is the best appointment ever, 10 being this is hideously biased and weird, where are we on that scale regarding Jack Smith?
We're pretty close to 10. This is the same Jack Smith that Obama Attorney General Eric Holder hired to run the public integrity section. And this is the same Jack Smith who prosecuted former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell, a potential Republican presidential candidate, and he prosecuted him under these bogus corruption charges that were overturned by 8-0 by the U.S. Supreme Court. It would have been 9-0, but Justice Scalia died after the court accepted the case. This guy he's married to a left-wing activist who donated a big dollar donor to President Biden. She did a documentary for the Obamas. This is, if you're a Democrat attorney general, this is your heat-seeking missile that you bring in to take out Republican presidential candidates, whether it's Bob McDonnell or President Trump.
I have to disagree with you, Mike Davis. You said that this was approaching 10 on the inappropriate scale. I would say that this is about 1 million. I mean, this is hideous. This does not pass any test whatsoever. What avenue does President Trump have to object to this? Is there any objecting to the appointment of an independent counsel? Is there anything he can do?
It is very hard. These prosecutors, the attorney general has so much power under these regulations to appoint a special counsel. Remember that Attorney General Merrick Garland is appointing a special counsel to investigate non-crimes. It is not a crime to object to presidential elections. Otherwise, Democrats would be in jail from 1969, 2001, 2005, 2017, when they objected to the presidential elections of Republicans. It is not a crime for presidents to take personal copies of their presidential records when they leave office. It is specifically allowed by the Presidential Records Act. If it were a crime, Bill Clinton would be in jail for having 8 years of highly classified audio recordings in his sock drawer from when he left the White House. This is a political hit on President Trump. Biden fears that President Trump is going to beat him in the next election. That's what the polling shows. So Attorney General Merrick Garland is sending his political hatchet man, Jack Smith, to try to take him out legally because they know they can't beat him politically.
Look, independent counsels have been around for a long time. You know, Archibald Cox, the Nixon administration, they've been around for a long time. There's got to be some institutional knowledge there at the DOJ. And some of them, their career or otherwise, hate Trump, not hate Trump, they have to understand. Merrick Garland, if he actually was able to graduate from law school, any law school, should know some of this stuff, right? I mean, they don't care. They're just committed to getting Trump. That's my takeaway here. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all. And it's actually pretty egregious that Garland is appointing a special counsel, a heat-seeking missile, to go after his boss's political opponent, Trump, but he's not appointing a special counsel where he needs to when there is clear-cut smoking gun evidence that President Biden, his son Hunter, and his brother James were on the Ukraine and Chinese payrolls, and that potentially compromises President Biden right now. There should be a special counsel appointed right now. That is appropriate. There are predicate crimes there. There's an obvious conflict of interest that Garland cannot investigate Biden. So what does Garland do? He appoints a special counsel to go after Biden's political enemy, Trump. This is outrageous. House Republicans need to zero out the special counsel budget.
Zero out how? How would they do that? Sorry?
They could, when they take over Congress in January, when they have to do appropriations, you include an appropriation writer that no appropriation can be used for the special counsel investigation because this guy is running an illegitimate investigation of non-crimes, and he's clearly biased.
Can I run one thing by you that perhaps you can share? No one's brought this up. I'm no lawyer, but I think it's actually kind of a key piece of information. President Trump left Washington, D.C. at like 9 in the morning. He gets to Mar-a-Lago at 11. Joe Biden is not going to become the president until 11:40. When he arrived in Mar-a-Lago with all of his stuff, he was still the president of the United States. I don't think they factor that into this scheme. I'm talking about Democrats. I'm talking about the General Services Administration. I'm talking about the National Archives. When he left the presidency, he actually didn't leave it until he got to Mar-a-Lago. That's when he stopped being the president. Does what I'm saying have any merit here in absolving him of this document stuff?
Well, yes, it does. But it's also under the Presidential Records Act. Presidents are allowed to take personal copies of their presidential records, and it doesn't matter whether they're classified or non-classified. And by the very fact that President Trump took these records to Mar-a-Lago, declassified them as a matter of law. This is a witch hunt against against President Trump for these non-crimes. They are investigating non-crimes by a special counsel who has a reputation for taking out Republican presidential candidates.
And then they have that catch-all, though. Oh, it's a non-crime, but obstruction is a real crime, and then they'll try to portray obstruction, right? That's their game, and I got to go, but that is their game, correct?
Well, that is their game, but OLC, the Office of Legal Counsel, says you can't obstruct non-crimes.
I like that very much. And I like you, Mike Davis. Great stuff. Go to article3project.org, article3project.org. Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.